Good morning and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Today is Wednesday and it is build day 49. Build day 49 in the construction phase out at Villa FELIZ. And today we are going to continue to put the corrective rebar in for all of the beams out there. And yesterday it looks like they had like one full strand and then a part of a strand from one set of columns to columns. And I'm thinking, I tell you, I'm thinking we're probably going to have around 50% of the redone correction. I'm going to say 40 to 50%. I'm always optimistic. Yes? 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 What? Okay, I will get to you in just a minute. Well, anyway, I would say they're going to actually get a lot of stuff done today because I think my contractor is motivated just to move forward and get this done as quick as possible and get it done right as quickly as possible. So we're going to head on out there, and I spent most of the morning inside here. You got to excuse me, the cold is still kicking me down. It's one of those evolution processes. I am in, it went from the sore throat to the lungs to, now I'm into the sinus cavity and stuff like that. But Tess made that wonderful, it was like a chicken soup thing, and I added it with some rice, made like chicken rice soup last night. And chicken soup is, my mom used to tell me, chicken soup is the best remedy for a cold. And it did help, if not in the mind. Maybe it did help, I don't know. But anyway, I'm bringing some calamansi and some ginger tea with me today, and I'll make some tea out at the Bahay Kubo. So anyway, I want to get started today. I want to get out there, and I want to catch up on some emails. And if I have a chance today for Bahay Kubo time, I'm going to do a little bit more comments. It seems like everybody enjoys that as well. So anyway, without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Here. Good morning. How are you today? What do you have? What is that? That's a 5. What are you going to do with all that money?
Morning, James.
Good morning. Good morning. What are you going to... I tell you what, let's see. What do I have here? Here's one peso to add to that. Morning. Good morning, Michelle. I'm fine. It'll be. I did the calamansi yesterday and ginger. Yeah, I'm near the end of it. It'll be okay. Good morning. How are you today? Oh, hey, pretty girl. Hey, pretty girl. Hi. Oh, she knows. She knows. Oh, it's so hot for her. So hot. Good morning, Tess.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lola. How are you today?
Taas ang kamay na magandang babae. Beautiful eyes. Ayos naman yan eh.
Bye. Hey, Tess.
Fried fish, you want like this? Fresh.
Is it the dry to bake?
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 Only fry.
Okay,
You put
yeah.
your seasoning and...
Yeah, and what else? Are you having it just that, or are you having some?
Vegetables.
And vegetables?
Yes.
Okay.
Pakbet, that pakbet, squash, beans.
Oh yeah. I love squash.
Yes.
Yes, good. Okay.
One squash and one beans.
Yes. Okay. See you tonight. Have a good day. Stay cool. Yes, salt and vinegar.
6.
Big help? She a big help?
Hi James, good morning.
Well, Yolanda, I was looking for you this morning. I thought maybe you were hiding from me. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I will see you later on. Good morning. How are you today? What's all this coming down? This is new, first time, yeah.
First time.
It's like it's raining yellow.
It's raining.
Raining, but that's okay. It's pretty. Yeah. Good morning. Again. That's my Pandasol guy. I got Pandasol from him this morning. I actually got 2 bags of Pandasol. I actually ate 2 bags of Pandasol. I have no idea what he's going to use that for. I'm sure something. Alright, well, on the site and everything is back to normal, busy beaver. Everybody's doing their thing, and they're doing the reconstruction of all the beam framework, the steelwork. So anyway, what I want to show you, this is a big tip, and I'm going to start off the day with a really big tip today. You remember I sent you the link that says, I believe it was myphilippinelife.com, that shows improper techniques when doing things with the steelworks and the rebar and setting up the beams in the column. Well, I want to show you an example. They had a problem with one where they're talking about splicing. I want to show you the correct way of doing splicing. If you are not using 9-meter bars, if you're using, say, like 6-meter bars, which a lot of the contractors over here will use 6-meter, it's easier to transport, it's an inventory more, and it might be a little bit cheaper, but it's actually better. If you can use 9-meter rebar, 9-meter is actually the way to go. 6-meter. Let me show you the splicing that I was talking about. So in the event, and you're going to have to splice, there's no doubt about it, you're going to have to splice unless you have a tiny house, and you can make the entire span in one connection and anchor at both ends and go right through your column. But if you have to do splicing, which we're going to have to do multiple splicing here, the proper way to do splicing is when you are doing your top bar, your compression bar can be spliced in the center of the beam. And here's an example. You see this splice right here, and this is in the center of the beam. Here's your splice right here, right? And that's good because the strength on a beam for compression is going to be on this connection right here, and you see it goes through. So both ends, if you can, you should have your compression rebar going through here. And then you, on your bottom side, you never put your splice in the center or the tension rebar that's going through there, that tension span. Your splice should be somewhere in this area near the column. Because remember the theory I showed the other day when it comes to compression and tension. Compression, the most important area is in the section between the beam and the column, and that you're worried about. So this has to have no splice on the top side. And then on the bottom side, the most important thing to remember about tension is you have to do support in the center of your beam, which is this portion right here. So you want to make sure the splice is not in that, and there's no splice there, and you see the center support inside there. So hopefully that's a big tip for you to look out for if you're building or if you have somebody building for you. Good morning, guys. Good morning, JR. Well, I think this is actually a good moment for Bahay Kubo time. You missed a big span of the morning, and so did I, by the way. The guys are still working on doing the structural support. They had their break, they had their lunchtime, and while they had their lunchtime, I ate a little bit of lunch, and I took a siesta too. This cold has got me down so bad, I thought the nap would actually help, and it did. It actually did help a bit. So then I got up, and then I felt refreshed, and then I went and I washed the truck, and I watered all the plants, and I watered some columns down inside the basement, and I didn't take any videos of any of that. I think you've seen me wash the truck enough times, and you watched me water down the plants around Bahay Kubo. So anyway, what I want to talk about today in Bahay Kubo time, I'm going to answer some of the viewer and the subscriber comments from the channel. But one of the, I have an alibi here. One of the subscribers actually sent a very good question this morning, and I feel really guilty because there was an accident that happened here. I actually answered the question, and it had to do with the owner slash contractor agreement for the contract when you have a fixed term contract building your house. And it was a very good question, and I went inside there and I replied to the question, and there was like one letter that was off when I looked at it, and I went back to do an edit, and I accidentally hit the delete button instead of the. So I felt so guilty about that. I actually went on Google and I looked, how can you recover if you delete a comment, if you delete it on YouTube? And there is no way, according to what I read on Google. There's no way to recover it. It is gone. It's like purging your empty basket on your deleted files. So anyway, I apologize for that one, but what I am going to do, the first question of the day, I'm going to address that. So let's talk about the user agreement and what is my responsibility and what is the contractor responsibility. Well, I'm going to read just a few paragraphs inside here. I'm not going to read everything, so I'm just going to read some key parts inside here. And the beginning of the contract goes, the owner and the architect, for and in consideration of foregoing premises and of the other covenants herein named, agree as follows. And this whole agreement is just like a legal binding document that you would find at a law office, and it's worded that way. So you have to be careful when you read through all of your paragraphs inside your owner-builder agreement, or owner-architect agreement. One of the things that protects you, and it's in the very beginning of the document, says, the architect or builder guarantees the work shall be free from any and all defects, deficiency, and failures caused by or resulting from unsatisfactory workmanship. Unsatisfactory workmanship. And or compliance with the contract documents for a period of 1 year from the date of completion and acceptance. At the very beginning of the architect contractor owner agreement has a very important clause inside here. It says the acceptance of any workmanship by the owner shall not preclude the subsequent rejection thereof if such workmanship shall be found to be defective. Such workmanship shall be remedied by and at the expense of the architect contractor. The architect shall not be entitled to any payment hereunder so long as any defective workmanship in respect to the work of which the architect contractor shall have had notice shall not have been remedied. So basically what that says, that's my protection. If they do something wrong with the workmanship, like the problem that I found out there, and that's going to cover that part where they actually did not do the anchorage properly, and it is not my responsibility, it is the responsibility of the builder to remedy such action. So that's where I'm covered underneath that. Let's look at some other parts inside here. So let's say your house is complete, your builder is completed, and you have a certificate of completion. Now, you have, it's like a homeowner's warranty with the builder. You should have something like that built into your agreement. And the one that I have here says, should any workmanship be found not to have complied with the requirements within the 1 year period after issuance of certificate of completion by the owner, the architect shall remedy such defect within 30 days upon written notice by the owner. In the event the architect fails to make such remedy, the owner may execute the corrective measure, but the architect shall pay the cost involved thereof. So basically what that says, in the event that you find something within a year's period after you have your house is completed, you have a defect, some wiring problem, plumbing problem, a structural problem, no matter what, he's going to end up, he's still responsible for that within 1 year after. And the agreement has many. I'm not going to go through the whole agreement because it's a 7-page document, and it protects you in the event that you're not getting the services or the quality that you expected, and it also protects the architect builder so that he gets paid. You have certain responsibilities, and your responsibilities is defined in there, and I've explained that in how to build a house in the Philippines in one of the earlier videos. And that was the one that basically says there's a schedule set up upon a certain amount, certain percentage of work that's completed. You will make installments, like a 30%, a 25%, a 20%, and so on. And you make like, I think it's 5 installments I have. There's an initial one, and then four others within a certain time period that your construction is completed. The progress of that construction is completed. Your contract with your architect or contractor is also going to identify what fees are his responsibility and what fees are your responsibility. And these are going to be things like different types of taxes on the property, different things like when you hook up water, when you hook up electricity, who's going to be responsible for paying for the water, for the electricity. If work is suspended for some reason, if there's a rain day, of course we had lots of rain days during the rainy season here. If you have inside your contract, it's also going to state how many days the contractor is binding to have this job completed. And inside that contract, it should also state, and mine does, that if it's not completed within the time frame, every day thereafter there will be a fee assessed against the contractor for the late time that it's going to take to actually complete the job. Now, again, you have to deduct things like natural disasters and rain days and holidays and all these kind of things where the workers cannot work. So hopefully that gives you a clear understanding of what to expect between your contractor and owner agreement inside there. And they're not all the same. Every single agreement is the same, and they're negotiable. My contract, I negotiated the terms of the payments. Because some contractors, what they will do is they will want, when they're complete, they want final payment. And I explained this again in one of the earlier videos. And what I did for my final payment, I made a stipulation that the contractor does not get the final payment until after 180 days, basically 6 months, and it will be 5%. I mean, you can do 10% in 1 year, you can do 5% in 6 months, you can do whatever you want to, but it's what it is. The reason that you put that on the end of your contract is in the event that something is not right. If you've paid him everything in that final payment, he has no motivation to fix anything for you, which he would if he was waiting on that final payment. So he's going to want to make sure that everything is correct, done by your contract, so that he'll receive that final payment. So anyway, my wife, she runs a department in this organization of My PI Dream, and that department is called Conscience Control. And what she does, because I still don't have this YouTube thing figured out, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I get all these comments, and I can go through the comments. What I do is when I look every single day, and there's one section that has nothing to do with comments, and I just kind of follow through there. But sometimes if there's a string on a video that was earlier, so like somebody started, somebody replied to that one, and somebody replied to that person inside there, it doesn't show up inside my comment section inside here. So I miss certain things. But my wife, she actually goes back and she reads things over and over again, and she tries to make sure that I don't miss anything. So she saw that I missed one by somebody who asked for a shout out, and of course I missed it somehow. So anyway, my wife said, don't forget to do a shout out to Ryan Santos. So here's a shout out to you, Ryan Santos. I did not forget you. Well, in yesterday's video, I told you that I was going to do a trip out to David's house over in Mount Melriot, and one of the subscribers says, James Jennings asked the question, David's home, how much is the purchase price, please, James? I don't know how much the purchase price is. We'll find out Sunday. I haven't even talked to him, but I didn't even know it was up for sale until he came here. We were staying at it as a Airbnb when we were staying at this place, and it's beautiful. You're going to really enjoy that one. So we'll find out on on Sunday. But I will tell you, it's probably not going to be cheap because none of the houses in Mount Mallory are inexpensive houses. The properties are expensive because I think the properties here are around I think they're around 4,000 pesos per square meter for the property, the lots themselves. And I think in Mount Mallory, I think they're around 10,000 pesos per square meter. But we'll confirm that when we go over there. And Emmy asked the question. I would like to ask David if it's normal to have a hairline crack on concrete walls. Well, David, well, there's no David here. But you know what? When I go over on Sunday, I will jot that down and I will ask that question, and we'll see if you can answer it while we're over there. Edmy1 asked the question: does the drawing show the detail of how the beam should be anchored? Why not interview a structural engineer there to confirm if that's how it should be done, or really be done? Your architect should know who the structural engineer that stamped your plan. Well, anyway, he does. And as a matter of fact, I had him call the structural engineer today because when they were doing some of the corrective actions today, I questioned one of the methods that they did. And basically, when you're doing anchoring, and one of the questions from another, I don't mean to interrupt this question, but I'm going to answer both of them at the same time. One of the questions somebody had was they still didn't understand the anchorage situation. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to draw it out. I'm going to draw it out for you. So anyway, stand by. Okay. Let's get this anchorage all cleared up. So what we have here is we're going to have a beam. All right, this is our beam. It's not a straight beam right now because I'm not a very straight drawer. And this is going to be our column. And we're going to make our column go up, and our column's going to go up like this. All right. And then inside the column, you're going to have rebar runs inside there. All right. And there's going to be some rebar runs behind each other inside there. So this is our column with our rebar, and of course the multiple pieces of rebar in line inside there. And this is going to be our excuse me. And this is going to be our beam. So for proper anchorage, what we're going to do is we're going to take this top bar, and this top bar is going to come down, and he is going to do a loop down like this right here, all right? And then you're going to have a bottom bar, and your bottom bar is going to go, and it's going to loop up like that there. Actually it should be a little bit past center line. So we're going to go this way, and it's going to come up. So that is going to be our anchorage. We are anchoring. You can see we are anchoring our beam bars inside our column inside here. So this is consistent anchorage right here. The way we had anchorage before, which was no anchorage basically, is this bar right here came down, and it was very short. It came down, and it came down inside about this far right here, and this one on this bottom one came up, and it came up about like this. So if you actually had an earthquake, and your column starts moving like this, and this beam starts shaking back and forth, and you get a separation right here, there's not enough. This is not anchored enough inside the column to give you proper support, and you could have a critical failure at this point, and this beam would actually, boom, drop down, and your whole floor and everything would collapse. So that's anchorage. Hopefully that explains a little bit about anchorage. That's a simplified version. I'm sure it is a lot more complicated and technical term for it, but that's the basics about it. All right, let's look what else we have here. Wando says, "Hi James, have you thought about your Wi-Fi signal in the new house? Concrete walls block the Wi-Fi. Might need to extend the signal on the other floors." Wando, I am a network engineer. We're going to have a good network inside this house. We're actually running either Cat 5, Cat 5e or Cat 6 throughout the entire house. All the bedrooms, the family room, and we didn't have a basement before, but we'll extend to the workbench inside the basement. And the reason being is you can actually do any. If you have the infrastructure for all your Ethernet throughout your house, you can put extenders up, you can put bridges up, you can hook directly to it, which is actually the fastest speed, the data throughput that you're going to get is hooking directly up to it. Now what we'll have, if you looked in one of my earlier videos, we have a panel inside our house. It's in a hallway right by the utility room where the laundry room is going to be, and that's going to be the entry of all the outside things like the fiber coming in, and that'll make a connection to the fiber modem inside there, and then we'll make all the connections. We'll have a patch panel inside there. It will be wonderful. And I just did a refresh, and the last couple of questions, comments inside here are by Derek L, and one of them has to do with recording wind noise on the camera. I don't think he's got a suggestion inside here about cutting a straw off and gluing it over the spot on the camera that takes the sound. Well, anyway, this camera, this is a GoPro, and it's the GoPro 5 Hero Black, and it has stereo. It has it's embedded inside. It's not like a little microphone that's on the outside. It's on the inside, and it's waterproof. This camera, you don't even have to put inside a case. You can actually drop it inside water. You've seen the video footage that I've done inside the pools that I've been in, and I take it with me and I just bring it down to the bottom. I sit on the bottom of the pool. So I don't think there's any way really and I'm not going to glue anything because it fits in a case, and that would be kind of a hassle. But that would probably be a good solution if you had one of those kind of cameras that actually had like the external microphone, and you can actually slip it over, maybe something like that. I think it actually there's a setting on the GoPro that you can not use the stereo setting. I like using the stereo setting in case you have a stereo set up inside your house and you can hear noises that are going from the left side to the right side, or if you can hear the planes going overhead when they're doing training missions from the airbase or something like that. I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, he also had a second question. Did a double roof idea come up to help mitigate the heat issues? Can thermostat be mated to the automatic windows to open a pre-designated temp? Ooh, we're getting really complicated here. So, the double roof, no, they don't do double roofs over here that I know of. But what they do is they use insulation, and I talked about this in one of the previous videos when I came back from Worldex, and I was explaining some of the products they have, and this is kind of what they use right here. And they have different thickness. It doesn't look very thick, but it's pretty effective over here for taking the radiated heat that comes through and bouncing it back out and protecting you on the inside. It's not like in the U.S. we use like there's some kind of filler that they can blow inside your attic space, and also fiberglass and things like that. They do use some fiberglass over here, but I think this is the product of choice that they use over here, and it has different R values and things like that for trying to keep your house cool. About the thermostat being made at the automatic windows and stuff like that, no, I didn't see anything like that when I was in at Worldex. And Worldex was the latest and greatest when it has the home renovation stuff like that. The only thing I saw was which is what we're getting. If it gets too hot and we need to open, we need some ventilation. Some of the higher windows that we have inside, we're going to have a remote control because we won't be able to reach these windows. It's in like a 2-story with a vaulted ceiling in the family room, and the window's going to be real high. So we'll just push a button and it'll open, and the bottom windows will suck the air up, and the convection with the heat rising will have the hot air going out. So hopefully we'll have it. Hopefully, in theory, we'll have good ventilation and good cooling effect by doing that. But good question, Derek. Appreciate it. Well, that was the last question I got for right now. I answered tons of questions this morning before I left to come out here to the site. And so I normally do that. I try to knock out a bunch of questions and comments in the mornings. And sometimes I'll go back, and if I see something from the morning that's particular to something that I want to get a point across from what's going on during the afternoon here out at the build site, I'll bring that one back up again. Well, anyway, I'm going to go back and I'm going to take a look at see what the workers are doing and making sure that they're doing everything correctly. Well, it is after 5 o'clock, and the crew are done, and actually they're gone. It's probably like 20 after 5 right now. And if you look, it doesn't look like we got a lot more done than from yesterday. I had high hopes today that we were going to actually have a lot done. Well, I will tell you the background behind that. There was actually a couple mistakes today. And the mistake was they did this section perfectly. And the crew here, actually, they work on much smaller houses. Remember when I was telling you that you can buy your rebar in 6-meter and 9-meter segments? And the houses that they were building, the actual size of the houses were only about 6 meters wide. They're very small houses. So when they run the rebar through they're doing no splicing. And splicing, there's specific guidelines, there's specific rules that you have to do when you do splicing. And I explained that earlier. And remember the splicing I was talking about? You can do a splice in the top of the center of a beam, but you can't do it in the bottom of a beam. In the center, you must do things around the column area and things like that. Well, they're not used to those rules inside there. So they got the first one, and even though they did it correctly, I don't think they knew how they did it correctly. So they ended up doing this entire beam in both sections, both here and the next one down. They were complete, and I went over and inspected it, and they reversed the splicing. They had the full run on the beam on the top, and they had the splice in the center on the bottom, which is exactly the opposite of how you have to do that. And I grabbed my builder and I said, you're not going to believe what they did over here. And he came and he looked at it. He said, I can't believe they did that. So we're redoing this one. So what he did was he sat down, and again, we lost another day, but we're going to be okay. He sat down with them and he drew it out. He gave them a template, and we should not have this problem again from the rest. Tomorrow we should have good progress. So again, it's sometimes things are fast, sometimes things are slow, but we're going to get there. And again, as I say every single day, the most important thing is that we get things done properly, and we're going to get things done properly here. And so anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's a little bit shorter than normal. Of course, I got the cold, and I need to knock this thing out. I lost an hour just taking a nap today. But I will be back to normal soon, and we'll be doing a lot more things. I'll put all the other additional segments that I normally put inside there. But again, today I'm a little under the weather. So anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up, please share, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe by clicking on that little My PI Dream heart in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. If you subscribe, you will get the latest notifications of all the updates when I push a new video. So until tomorrow, and I hope I'm feeling better tomorrow, you have a wonderful day.